Minister Mishkin here. Since I've seen you guys last, I've picked up an incredible amount of stuff. I couldn't even begin to figure out what I've shown you guys and what I haven't. I've made some very nice additions to my collection. Here's Snatcher. It's a game I've been looking to get for a long time. I highly recommend it to you guys. I've only played it for about an hour. If you're into Terminator, if you're into Blade Runner, it's that style of a story. It's practically a movie. It's like a graphic novel. I'm not really that into that kind of stuff, but the story is so cool. I'm not going to spoil it. I'll leave it to you guys though. I highly recommend it. At one point I had a Musha. I've just been getting scores left and right on eBay. I went up north for a while and didn't have a whole lot to do, so I was just sitting on eBay looking at stuff that got listed. I picked up Musha for under $100 complete. I picked up Earthbound complete in box, mint box, 230 shipped on eBay. And I traded that off and I got a ton in return. Turbo Duo, Mega Man 1 through 6, Flintstones 2 I even had in my possession. That's now traded off. But I'm not a Nintendo and I'm not a Super Nintendo collector. I pick up stuff when I find it cheap locally and I enjoy some of the games, but that's just not the focus of my collection. You can't collect everything. You have to learn to focus. You don't want to just obsess over owning quantity when really you should be thinking about quality. You should be thinking about games that you really want to play. For me, there's two type of games I pick up. There's games I want to play, and then there's rare games. And I don't pay huge amounts of money for rare games just because they're rare. I try to get a deal. If I can get a deal, then okay. But for the most part, I just pick up good games I want to play. I'd say there's three categories. That third category is a game you played, you owned as a kid, maybe you rented it, and you want to own it now. Maybe it's not that great, but the nostalgia is strong. And those are the type of games that when you pick up, you put in your system, and you're just completely let down about 9 times out of 10. But when they're actually still pretty good, it's surprising. Like for instance, this is a game I grew up with, Barney's Hide and Seek. It's probably in my top 3 best Genesis games. That's a joke, I'm kidding. Picked up a Pilot Wings for under $100 sealed on eBay and is in the best condition of any sealed game I've ever seen, any game in my collection. It's in unbelievable condition. Picked up a ton of boxed Nintendo 64 systems. I now have a Pikachu, 2 Ice Blues, and I actually picked up a Grape. I'll tell you guys that story. So on eBay I picked up the Grape N64 complete in box, and the seller ships to me a mint condition. We're talking all the baggies inside of it, to quote you 97. The box was perfect in the picture. I mean, I didn't see any dents, anything. Sends it to me just in this wrapper. And what happens when I get the box? Holes in it, the corners are all messed up. I waited a week to open a case or whatever it was. The seller never contacted me. The seller told me that they were going to double box it, pack it so it didn't move around during shipping. And that was an awful experience, but eBay's giving me a full refund once the item has been delivered to them. Some crap like that. So I'll get my $135 back, but really I wanted the system. That's kind of my goal right now. I'm trying to collect all of the Funtastic systems and the Gold and the Pikachu, Nintendo 64s, complete. But yeah, that's kind of where my collection's head. At this point, my Nintendo 64 stuff, I almost have every game complete in box that I could ever want. By that I mean every game that's any good, in my opinion. Of course, I'll find new things, and I'll find new N64 games to pick up that maybe I didn't know about, but for the most part, I've picked up everything I really want. Recent acquisitions, this is a pretty hard to find game. International Superstar Soccer 2000, I traded for this. The big thing with this is there's a lot of copies of it floating around complete, but not a whole lot with English on the back. This is a popular game. Think about soccer. It's going to be more popular with the Spanish-speaking country. This sold much better down in Mexico, I believe, and it has a different box in the back. So you have to look out for that. It's still a pricey game if you see it complete, even with the Spanish writing in the back. It's not the same, and I don't think it's something I would want to own in my collection if it's not in English. I mean, I just have so many stories since I've talked to you guys last. Here's another great one. Conker's Bad Fur Day. I'm on eBay, I see a Genesis lot, about 20, 25 box Genesis games for $20 shipped. Bam, I buy it. Send the seller a message and ask them if they have any other games. They told me they had N64 stuff. We agreed on 10 games for $20, which was a crazy deal. I mean, they're the ones that offered me $20. I wouldn't have offered $20, I would have offered more. I don't know, I got Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, GoldenEye, a bunch of good stuff, but One of them was Conker's Bad Fur Day, and I was very excited about that. And when I opened up the package, on top was Conker's Bad Fur Day, but it was complete. And I honestly was just like, what the hell? That's one of the luckiest things that's ever happened to me. What are the chances that somebody just happens to have a complete Conker's that they send you? This game goes for anywhere from $100 to $140. It's in pretty good shape, and to pay $20 for the whole lot was crazy. I also picked up a bunch of Super Nintendo games kind of in a similar fashion. I noticed a girl was selling stuff for really fair prices, and I've contacted her. She basically gave me first dibs on everything, and I said, hey, I'll save you eBay fees. Let me know what you're charging. I'll pay you straight through PayPal. I picked up pretty much most of these Super Nintendo games are from this girl. I picked up Zelda Complete, Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Kart, Donkey Kong 3, Star Fox, Mega Man X, picked up Gradius. I think I paid somewhere around $10 each for those, which is insane. The amount I paid for all of them is probably what A Link to the Past is worth. What I do these days is, our hobby has become so filled with resellers, with younger kids just looking to spend a ton of money to get all the rare games and show it off, and people who are willing to just spend so much money and so much effort, so much time looking for these games that I really don't go hunting anymore. Haven't been to a garage sale in 2 years. Have been to my local shops maybe once the past half a year. For me, it's just eBay. And I know you guys have all seen Pete Dora's new video. Kind of gave away too many secrets in my opinion. I think I'm gonna have more competition now. I score huge on eBay. That's what I do. I got a box TurboGrafx sitting over there I paid basically nothing for. Been finding all my deals on eBay and doing a good job of trading off what I don't need for stuff that I want. My NES collection now is tiny. I've sold off everything else but Mega Man 1 through 6, the Mario trilogy, 2 Zeldas, 2 Contras, and Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I didn't grow up with the NES. I told you I'm not much of a collector, but those are good games. Games that I'm going to play, and that's why I'm keeping them in my collection. My Super Nintendo collection, also been trimming it down, probably going to trim it down even more. There's just no sense in owning games you're not going to play, in my opinion. Now, I'm just not the type of collector that's going for a complete collection. It's a little bit of a different collecting goal than some other people, and I respect those people's decision to collect even the crappy games. But for me, space is key. I don't like having a ton of junky stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you guys can all take me back into the community. Well, that's pretty much all I have to say.